What's up, ladies and gentlemen? We are here live at WonderCon 2023. I am with the amazing Kelly Bohart. We took classes together at Actor Studio of Orange County. We're going to get into all of that. She also has a role in Wayward Sisters coming up, where we just recently interviewed Sammy for. And I'm just excited to have you here. So, Kelly, thank you for being here.
Thank
WonderCon,
you.
finally.
I know. We meet up like the coolest place ever, so that's fun.
I know. So, Kelly, I'm going to put it all on you here.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about, you used to work for a pop culture YouTube show.
Yes.
How did you get into that?
Yes. So, about I want to say 2014 or 2015, a friend of mine, at her birthday party, I met this guy and we played video games, and he noticed that I know a lot about video games. I'm an avid video game player, very passionate about it. And later down the line, after meeting this guy at a convention, he just said, and by the way, his name is Mike Rotundo, so shout out to Mike Rotundo for the hookup. We were at an anime expo, and he was like, hey, we need a last minute host to do some interviews and talk to the guests that we have here. We had a host, and she fell through. We need a new one. And I was like, I'd love to do it, but I don't have any experience. And he's like, no, you know your stuff. That's all you need to know. And they brought me in, and I was a part of the team ever since. That show was called That Hashtag Show. It was a pop culture focused YouTube show where we basically talked about all things trending in geek pop culture, which was great. And I did that for about 4 years. I did it until like 2019, 2020-ish. And then that's when I got the acting bug.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. We were just talking, like, I don't know how we never crossed paths sooner.
I feel like we have such very similar backgrounds, and it's interesting how they never crossed before.
Yeah.
Because when did you get into acting?
I started studying voiceover and improv in 2016.
Okay.
And then I transitioned fully into acting in 2019.
See, it was like a very similar time, so I'm surprised.
Yeah, I don't know, I think it was destined to be that we weren't meant to cross paths there, but cross paths in acting for whatever reason.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think
maybe we never would have made the transition.
Yeah, and then I think that just the fact that we get to enjoy all these things that we love so much, right? Anime, acting, all the pop culture stuff.
Yeah.
So with that, we crossed paths at Actor Studio of Orange County.
We did.
And
but it wasn't. Oh, it wasn't person. We had that workshop together. That was the only thing we had in person. And then after the pandemic, everything we had together was online.
Then, we started having classes together, which I was talking about. I was very sad. I never got to have an official scene with Kelly yet.
We're going to fix that.
Yeah. So, Kelly, what made you want to get into acting?
So I actually always had a passion for acting. When I was a kid, there was a radio ad on in the car where we listened to saying, like, have you ever wanted to be an actor? Like, come to this acting school. And I told my parents, I'm like, I want to do this. Like, I really want to do this. I loved TV as a kid. I watched a lot of it. Shouldn't admit that. But I wanted to do this. My parents let me sign up for it. And it was rough because we had to drive a bit to get to these classes. And my mom wasn't really a momager kind of person. My parents both worked. My mom's a nurse, my dad's a doctor. And so she focused on the family business, which I think was probably the smarter choice. And I didn't pursue it as a kid. And then in college, I thought, maybe I'll try it again. And I took an acting class and I loved it. And I asked the teacher, I'm like, hey, can I take more acting classes? And he's like, unless you're a major, that's the only class you can take. And so it was halted right there. And I guess it wasn't until after doing the geek pop culture thing, and that's when, in interviewing, I got to interview like lots of other actors and voice actors and people creating films and shows, and kind of reignited that passion I had as a kid. So
no, I love it, dude. Kelly's a great host. I love working with great hosts, man. She's a great actor. She's very creative.
Thank you.
And I'm excited to. I'm excited to like. It's just like the sister I never had. Like, I love it, dude.
I know. We're like the same person that we just never knew each other.
Yeah. So it's so crazy. So for me, kind of the same, well, a little different, but like I was studying voiceover and acting, and it was such a great, I started them at the same time. Or voiceover and improv. And whatever I learned in one, I would just take it and use it as a playground for the other. Met with a famous voiceover producer, shout out to Everett Oliver, and he told me, he's like, dude, what are you passionate about? I was like, I don't know. He's like, I think you're hiding behind the camera. Like, you need to get in front of the camera. And I was like, okay. And it was
saw
right.
your talent.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we went to Actor Studio of Orange County.
How did you find Actor Studio of Orange County? I'm curious.
I think I Googled it.
Yeah, same.
I think I just
Same.
Googled it.
And was it the closest one to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which I'm glad, man.
I'm glad. It was
a great
I got
studio.
really lucky with that because I Googled it too, and most of the things that pop up in the Google SEO analytics are places in LA, and so I was not ready to commit to that drive yet. Us being in Orange County,
and like another unique like layer of that is like Kelly was a class before me. I came right after her, but we did have some classes together, and it was a unique time because we did a lot of it during pandemic and during COVID time. So tell us, like, what was that experience like for you? Because for me, it was kind of like I was surprised I got into intermediate, and at that time I'm like, all right, like this is what I was supposed to do. This is for real. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, how was it for you?
So like do you mean specifically the pandemic, like everything going online?
Yeah.
So initially I freaked out.
Yeah.
I was like,
I think everybody did.
Yeah, I thought that this was it. Like I thought maybe this was like another road bump and I'm not meant to like continue this path, and that it was going to kind of slow things down. But I ended up actually loving it because it gave me the opportunity. I realized that this was my chance to take all these LA classes that I never had access to before.
Yeah.
I'm very introverted in a sense where when I sign up for a new class, I really have a hard time going. It takes me a while to actually work up the motivation to get to like a new class and meet new people. And so the opportunity of having these classes online, like I signed up for everything. Improv, like all these other like big name classes in LA, and like I was like, if it was anything, there was a point in time where I was taking 3 different schools at once.
Wow.
Online.
That's intense. Yeah.
But I was overwhelmed. At that point I was like I felt like I wasn't learning effectively that way because I was taking in too much information, and I do believe in letting the stuff you're learning sink in.
Yeah.
So as much as I loved it, I did learn a lot from it. But yeah, it was exciting. It was an exciting time.
Yeah. I want to get into this a little bit. We were talking about it. Tell us about your character type, the types of roles you want to play, the types you get casted as, and kind of just where you kind of see the journey going.
I love both comedy and drama. I do want to do film and TV, and it's tough because I feel like deep down drama is what sits in my heart. Like I'm a very emotional person, and it was nice finding something that I could put my emotions to good use. I cry at everything. Movies, commercials, friggin' I watched Puss in Boots, The Last Star, the other day, and I cried at that little dog. I was like, this poor dog. So it was nice finding something where I could actually like put these emotions to good use. And
yeah, for sure. I know, like for me, acting was a place for me to process all of it. Yeah, and like I'm still getting to know you, but I don't know how much you've been through. But for me, I've been through some crazy stuff, and sometimes, I just don't know where to put it. So that was like an outlet, a creative outlet for me. Like you said, like not only to make money and potentially, make a career, but it's like it was something for me that it was like actually like healing, therapeutic.
Yeah, yes.
And like,
no, I agree. The classes
it's like
I go
the
to
best
now,
personal development like I could ever have.
It feels like therapy.
Yeah, it's free therapy. Like it's creative therapy.
Yeah,
seriously.
No, I feel exactly the same way. I'll go to class and I'll work on a scene, and I use a lot of the loss I've had in my life in that scene, and it's very cathartic. I think connecting those emotions to what the text is saying, the text that's given to me, and getting a chance to really feel those emotions and express it without having to just fully be vulnerable. Like like acting is you have to be vulnerable, but I can grieve the losses I've had publicly, but also privately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know for me, I was going through a lot with my ex, and during that time we were doing some hard-hitting, heavy classes, and that gave me a place to, in my work, I learned so much, and you saw my work transform.
You always got a lot of angry roles during that time.
I did. And that's another thing, like I don't know if I've talked about this, but like I've been robbed, held at gunpoint before. I had some domestic violence abuse, as a child, and like you said, just to have a place to put all that. Because for so long, like, I didn't know what to do with that. It would always just come out as anger. So to realize that there's other ways of, you know, you can be sad about that. You can, like, allow that, but still have a process to make it safe, to where you're not playing yourself, but you're playing a character that's been through something like it, right? So that, I don't know, that just excites me. So anyway, leading into that, we won't give too much away because, you know, we want to save it. But you did get cast as a role in Wayward Sisters with Sammy. So tell us about, how did that just even happen?
Okay, so Sammy and I worked together at ASUG. We actually, in our advanced class, we had our comedy scene together, and I adore Sammy so much. We might have we might have had a little too much fun with our scene. It was great, and it's hard because we don't live very close. I didn't get to see her too much after graduating ASUG. I didn't know if it's considered a graduation or not, but I didn't get to see her as much after the fact. And then one day she kind of like messaged me out of the blue and told me how she was working on this project and wanted to bring me in on it. And I was like, 100%. Like, I will follow you wherever. Like, I love this. I love the idea that you're bringing, and I just feel lucky to be able to support Sammy on this and be a part of it.
Yeah, really. Absolutely. And we touched on it a little bit. We won't go too deep, but just real quick, give us like a trailer, quick preview of like, what is your character?
So I play the character of Claire, and the story behind it all are these two sisters, and they're somewhat estranged. And I feel like Claire is the one who's gonna help mend relationships. I want to say. I don't want to do too much. But
there we go. And the Indigogo campaign is out right now. You can go do that, and there's a lot of cool prizes. I know that you can get the killer's mask. There's T-shirts. There's bags. There's different all different kinds of stuff in there. That's linked into my other show. We'll link it up here too. But yes, there'll be a lot more to come from that. So. We were just talking about this too, transitioning a little bit, Kelly. We kind of have taken a step back from the conventions. I don't do as many conventions now, like as you do. Acting kind of just consumes you. Kind of where are you with that right now, and kind of where do you see yourself, in the direction that you're headed?
So right now I'm still taking classes, and I found a scene study class that, to take a step back, when we went very, track focused, like you have your beginner, intermediate, and advanced, and all the classes that you need in between to get there, which I enjoyed and I appreciate it. And I was just telling you earlier how I felt like ASUG gave us a great foundation. The 7 pillars gave us a great foundation where you kind of learned a little bit of everything, and then I felt like now is my time where I get to hone in on the special parts that I felt really worked for me. And so it's nice to have just a scene study class where I show up, we workshop, we play in class, I get to learn from other students, and it's not really like I feel like, oh, I've got this goal and I have to reach this goal. It kind of just like lets everything bloom on its own. And I just want to create. That's my goal right now, is to create shorts, maybe a film, do film festivals. I really want to. Maybe I should thank Sammy, because it's definitely inspired me to just create more. Being a part of the Wayward Sisters film. Yeah,
absolutely. And on that kind of same note, we were talking too. Like you said, you want to do more comedy.
I do.
So tell me about, how do you get cast now, and then kind of what are some other things that you want to do? Just put it out there.
So right now, I do get cast as the very bubbly character, not dissimilar to my character in Wayward Sisters. Sometimes an airhead, sometimes naive, sometimes the ingenue. And I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And just the very naive, innocent character. And I can appreciate that, because I do feel like a lot of people see me as that. But I want a really strong character. I really want to go for maybe like a badass character or something. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, I've seen this lady in class, and she's intense.
Oh, thank you.
She's very intense, and she's good. So I'm excited to work with you.
Yeah,
Kelly.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have some stuff together in the future that you'll get to promote. It'll be awesome.
I feel like, you know, we're manifesting for the future, sitting on a future Comic-Con, WonderCon panel together.
I hope so. That would be a dream.
Right? I'm looking at the sign up here, and I'm like, oh,
one day it'll be us.
Yeah. I say that to say this, Kelly, thank you so much for being here. I'm glad we finally got to do this.
Me too.
And I ask this to everyone, but what kind of thought, wish, prayer, hope, any words of inspiration you'd like to leave the people of the Wavehealernation with?
That's so tough. I want everyone to know that you're seen. You know, I get what it's like to not feel seen, and I just want everyone to know that you're seen and your feelings are valid.
Yeah.
I think that's a good message.
Yeah. Kelly, thank you so much, man. This is so cool. WonderCon 2023. As you can see, no masks. The arena's back open. Never thought we'd see it.
Yeah, how was the
right?
panel?
The panel was great. I was at the Walking Dead Dead City panel. The Walking Dead is going to be in Manhattan, which is exciting. And they're on the last season of Fear the Walking Dead, season 8. So who knew, right?
Yeah.
That's why we love coming to conventions, right?
How much that fandom has like expanded.
Yeah. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Wavehealernation, we're out of here. Make sure you catch Kelly Bohart. Before we let you go, how can people follow you? How can they get in touch with you?
You can follow me at Kelly Bohart on Instagram, and I think I'm on Cranky Cupcakes as everything else because it's still my gaming tag.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So we didn't even get to talk about that. We'll talk about that next time. Which games you're playing, what you're into.
Sounds good.
But Kelly, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Wavehealernation, we're out of here.